Well, and first of all, I must say this is completely wrong for the U.S. To revoke Ethiopia's AGOA eligibility. It was unwarranted, it was unjustifiable, it was unjust, so it was wrong. So I want to say that on record. But that said, we have worked with key stakeholders in the industry to find the mitigating solutions for the loss on market access or as effectively the tax privilege that our exporters that export the US will lose. So they are looking at cost minimum, cutting their cost, or working with other buyers to diversify their markets. But we are also talking to the US, and we are hoping there will be an out-of-cycle review to reinstate Ethiopia's eligibility to AGOA.
So is there already
Ethiopia's reform, economic reform, which we call homegrown economic reform? We have looked at all key sector areas. One sector was the telecom sector, and we sensed we need to create a world-class telecom industry, a vibrant telecom industry, and we've carefully studied what should be the approach. And then the approach we decided to take is to open up the sector for competition and also strengthen the incumbent by partially privatizing it. So we went through a series of bid processes and a very transparent one, and I'm very pleased that Safaricom is the one that managed to win the bid. And the team is on the ground actively. I think they are planning for a launch sometime in April, and they are so far keeping their momentum in maintaining the critical milestones for that goal. So Safaricom's entry would be, it has significant implication for our digital economy drive, for the digital transformation that we have embarked on, but also it signifies what these two nations can do together. You know, our destinies are intertwined. We have a shared destiny, same destiny. That's how we believe, and that's what our founding fathers have believed as well. And this rhetoric needs to be backed by actual economic opportunities for Kenyan businesses in Ethiopia, and the same here. So there are bigger, as you know, the Lamu port. We're talking about power interconnection, which is almost complete, as you probably have gathered. So a number of areas for Ethiopia and Kenya to cooperate, and Safaricom is one of those areas of cooperation, and we're pleased with their activities as of now.
Ethiopia, of course,
the
second license.
The second new license. Yeah, that is in the making, but we've delayed it because of the current situation. We thought we will not get the right competitors now. We pushed it by a few months, but that has nothing to do with financial services license. That Safaricom will get that because that was the promise. Mid this year, that should be open. Yes, we don't call it privatization as such. We call it reform.
Yeah.
State-owned enterprise reform. That reform may entail privatization. It may entail opening up liberalization. It may entail strengthening the incumbent. So we want our state-owned enterprises to operate at a global standard, and that. So the approach we've taken was a deep dive sector, like what approach we take for energy, for telecom, for railway. That's how we have approached it. So yes, that reform is continuing. In fact, we are intensifying our efforts in opening up the economy and reforming our SOEs. I'm not sure if you picked up, but we've just established more of a sovereign wealth fund, a holding company called EIH, to bring all the SOEs together. That's going to be absolutely critical in optimizing our assets and also in leveraging the assets we have for more investment in critical areas. Is one, we need to build a number of dry ports, privatization or private sector participation in the railway sector. By logistics, we talk the entire value chain from transportation to air, aviation, and the shipping sector. So these are all opening up, and also investment in critical manufacturing sectors like sugar, for instance. We have a big sugar investment, 12, 13 estates that we have. That would require significant amount of private sector participation. So this is open for privatization now. And if you look at the energy sector, the generation has generally been open, but we take a cautious approach on the IPPs. I mean, there is a lesson to learn from Kenya as well. But on the transmission line, on the distribution, strong investment is required. So we're looking at this. But again, a very measured approach. We take a deep dive in a sector and see how can we make this sector better. We don't take a prescribed, predetermined solution for any sector. We study each sector and then decide how best to approach it for. I'm hopeful when we get into a full-fledged privatization, the actual bid, there will be another Safaricom type that would be interested in the sugar industry. But make sure the word is out there.
Then the lapset of that, do you think there's more priority towards lapset now?
What, sorry?
Lapset, the Lamu.
That's
access
yeah.
to, yeah. It was a bit quiet for a while.
No, I mean, that is when I talked about our collective destiny,
Yes.
common destiny. Those are the things that I had in mind. The two leaders have, driven all the way there, made it very clear to both Ethiopians and Kenyans that our interests are intertwined. So COVID and probably some of the internal conflict might have delayed some operational things, but the commitment still is intact. And now we are actually planning to utilize Kenyan transport companies for some of the shortfalls we have in Ethiopia. This is already in the making. Another indication of how our economies are highly integrated. So we are very much focused on that. There could be a bit of delays, given the COVID impact and so on, but we are very much enthusiastic about that.
Are there any concerns?
Special Kenya and Ethiopia always have had this special relationship, right? So that special status, I believe, goes all the way in all areas. So yes, I mean, how these things need to be defined in agreement. But as you feel, I always feel we have special status to one another. So that always is a guiding principle. That's the framework that our forefathers have set up, and we have to live up to it. Significantly ease up, logistics and customs clearance. So definitely there is increased volume, but not to our collective expectations. It should be more. So there will always be a learning curve, as you know. Businesses need to adjust from their usual way of doing things to the new one. So I am very confident that it would even increase significantly this year and continues to be one important path for trade between the two countries.
As part of
Very pleased. The businesses are very happy that this has been set up. think the feeling is mutual, both sides. There will be operational constraints at the setup, which the two customs are jointly working together and calibrating whenever a challenge is faced. So we are closely following up this issue.
And of course we have...
We are in it together. It's serious, like really, in whether you look at it in one way or the other, these two countries are strongly shared common destiny. People to people, they share the same people, they share a wide border. So I think what we have failed to do is to exhaustively utilize the opportunity that common destiny brought. What we've not utilized fully what God gave us jointly. So I hope the next phase of the relationship would be in fully exploiting that opportunity. And I see in our leaders clear vision toward that across all levels of leadership, and I'm very confident that it will go to the next level of strong, profound relationship.